Welcome and thank you for tuning in. We're going to be doing treatments today. This is our last installment of the healing workshop. I'm recommending that if you are participating in this healing workshop, look at the other videos also, as they discuss very specific schema that may be relevant to your work in your liberation process. So we're going to begin with 3 deep breaths. This is mindful exposure to the large breath. And when we do the deep breathing, we're already starting to pay attention, move into sensory awareness, and slowing down the conceptualizing that occurs throughout our day. We are constantly conceptualizing our experience. So we tune that down while we're beginning our process, which is the 3 deep breaths that help us to get our bodies and consciousness organized so that we could readily modulate into the meditative placement of attention. The meditative placement of attention is non-dual. And that means that what you're looking at is what's looking. We are neither subject in the meditative placement of attention nor object. So in other words, life is not happening to us. Well then, who is it happening to? Who do you think? Well, if you don't have an answer to that yet, continue to work with me so that we come to understand that we are what is. It is very fair to understand existence in terms of duality. Life is happening to me. The non-dual perspective is that life is simply just happening. Well, doesn't it have to happen to somebody? Well, no, it does not have to happen to somebody. And here is where we integrate non-duality with duality. Let's understand briefly that a non-dual perspective is a way of looking at existence as existence itself. Something that is all-embracing is a no thing, because to have something, you need to have a comparison. So in non-dual awareness, we modulate to life just happening. That life that's just happening is an aspect of yourself. It is you, if you will. You can see a bit of a problem when we use the term you, because we're quickly referring to the dual perspective. You are not me, therefore you are. I am not you, therefore I am. Very fair. We need to keep our dual perspective. However, as we work towards expanding our enlightenment, we come to understand that we also participate at another level, that we are embracing the environment that we exist in, or that environment that we exist in, this universe, single word, universe, is all-embracing, inclusive of ourselves. So this can be difficult for us. And I have recently been speaking to some priests who are associated with Catholicism, and the priests have a strong inclination towards duality because of its devotional orientation. However, even the priesthood, the Catholic priesthood, is beginning to understand that non-duality is a reality for the mystic, which this type of event does occur in settings like Catholicism. I point at, for example, at Meister Eckhart, a 14th century Dominican priest who had the non-dual experience and began to teach it and had some difficulty with the church of his era. This is when the church was in France. So we see difficulties here. We see difficulties accepting paradox. Well, we are the life. And that is a non-dual perspective. In some circles that can be considered to be heretical, for example. And what can we do? We are indeed the life, and we are also in the life. So this is how it is for us in our time here in the 21st century. And we are still evolving, but what we're seeing, I believe, is that more and more people are being exposed to understanding non-duality. So those who understand non-duality are expressing themselves, and of course now with the internet, more and more people are giving consideration to this reality. How does it help? Well, we collaborate with nature itself, with the infinite intelligence that is the universe. We recognize our oneness with that life. We commune with the Godhead, with ourselves at that level. So interestingly, you see how our Western culture identifies egoism as almost synonymous with ourselves, with the self-identity. So when one says, I am the one, we are assuming you must be inflated and might benefit from some medication. However, this is the way it is in a democratic universal model. What is a democratic universal model? When the whole gives itself completely to every part. In other words, every part of the universe is a microcosm, a holon. In other words, an atom is in fact the entirety of the universe. It does not exist without the entirety of the universe existing. So this is this interbeing, the co-arising of phenomenon in this multiverse universe. So let us begin with our deep breathing. We're going to take 3 deep breaths, changing our affective condition, and this will help us to modulate into a non-dual meditation. Let's begin with the expulsion with the H sound through the throat. Inhales will be through the nose. Very large breath. Let's begin with an expulsion. Get the air out. Let's do that again. Expelling. Breathe in. Really fill up. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Let's modulate now into the meditative placement of attention by coming to our senses. Radically accept your experience without question. Listen closely. Suspend judgment. Let go of all objectives. It is as it is. And let the eyes remain open. You may keep the eyes open or closed. And let's debrief. So from the deep breathing, we modulated to the meditative placement of attention, the non-dual perspective. And we need to think about the value of that once again. It is a communion event. And we allow an infinite intelligence to operate freely. We do not correct God, for example. If we let God be God, so to speak. Let nature be nature. It includes us. It is us. That which is beating our heart is also shining the sun. And we allow divine order to unfold as and through our own life. So, we're also interested in a recovery from irrational anxiety. And when we modulate to the meditative placement of attention, we find a perspective that is, well, it's non-judgmental. There is an accommodating element to it also. We accept experience as it is. This does not disarm us. We are equipped by an infinite intelligence to operate effectively in this dual plane of existence. We visit the non-dual plane of existence also because it is equivalently true. You are the universe. And again, here's the problem with the word you. We associate it so much with this very narrow spectrum of identity that our preferences and what we deliberately do. This is far from who and what we are. We are what is. So you, in that sense, are the universe. There has never been anyone other than you. Everything and everyone you look at is that same you. Take a feel. See what it's like to be alive. Feel your own existence. Sense the I am. And open the door to infinite compassion because you're all there is. This may seem like a very large pill to swallow, however, what are you going to do? Best we accept life as it is. This will provide for our maturation, which comes with the ability to include, for example, our emotional wound, to include aspects of ourself that we are uncomfortable with. They need to be included. They need to be sitting at our table, so to speak. Everything comes in. So we look at the human event and we see very disturbing qualities in the human being, and also remarkable, encouraging qualities also. We need to invite all qualities, all the cards of the deck need to be included and then transcended. We tolerate the savage rule of existence. We forgive the human nature, which has a very broad spectrum from evil to beautiful virtue and kindness. We are indeed encouraging kindness. However, we do not expel its opposite. We do indeed need to understand the savage rule of existence. We, for example, human beings are omnivorous, and we partake of the sacrifice of the life to sustain ourselves. This is a pill. Upon swallowing that pill, we grow and we evolve. We become, to some extent, folks, leaders. We become individuals. We part with the culture by degree. And in parting with the culture, we provide the culture an opportunity to change. Because we change, we then become part of the culture. The infinite compassion is a potential for all of us. It has a great deal to do with enlightenment. And yes, enlightenment happens to many of us. And we need to, not be ashamed of it. We are ashamed of our egotism. It is not associated with our enlightened aspects. The enlightened mind is an infinitely compassionate mind that feels suffering for the world. In other words, we don't exactly stop suffering because we have woke up. Things have changed for us, and we have more pity for the world. This has been the Healing Workshop. I deeply appreciate your participation. Continue to tune in. I'll continue to provide more videos on schema therapy and also on the liberation from psychological suffering. Stay well. Be well. Tune in again. See you. Thank you.